like to welcome everybody to another edition of the Major Music Lounge podcast, joined by Calvin once again, who's here to talk about new project he just released, which is the Corner Chronicles 2. What's good, Calvin?
Nothing much, nothing much. Appreciate it, D Dot. Thank you for having me back on, man.
Oh man, no problem at all, man. I got a chance to actually listen to your beat tape this morning, before the show, while I was working out, and like what I heard. If y'all haven't gotten a chance to check it out, if somebody that's watching the show that hadn't gotten, that doesn't follow Calvin online, go ahead, check it out. We'll give you the information where you can find it at as the show goes along. But what have you been up to recently, Calvin?
Um, I decided to put that one out as far as for Corner Chronicles 2. I just got off like a break in August because I have my son over here for the summer.
Yeah.
So we're usually around that time frame I try to put out something. So I did a single for Daydreaming, which is something different. I tried something new, pretty much a lo-fi type beat.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I haven't put out an album in a little bit, so I need to put out something. So that was my next thing. I kind of looked at what I had as far as already done, and also too anything new I can create at the same time as well. And I was like, let me go ahead and put that album out because I needed something to either follow up. It was either going to be that or another follow up of one of my previous ones. So I decided to do that one just because I like that. Well, the idea of it is to have like an old school type of tape, so to speak, 90s boom bap type stuff.
Yeah, that's what I kind of got out of it is it almost kind of gave me vibes from like watching Rap City in the 90s and hearing those old boom bap joints.
Yeah.
What do you think about like maybe like somebody like Keith Murray, for example, or maybe those old Mobb Deep joints, or kind of going back to let's see, another good one was Grand Puba and Brand Nubian.
Yeah.
Kind of gave me some similar vibes to them as well. So um, I know you won a show a couple of months ago, but tell our audience who were some of your influences as far as becoming a producer.
So I always, like I said, I always give credit to P Rock because when Troy came out, that was the first time I actually sat and listened to everything, the production behind it. So besides the lyrics as well, which was was a good storytelling, but I liked the way everything was formatted, the beat was done, and everything else. But as I went on, like in the 2000s, my main influence was Night Wonder in the
Yeah.
2000s. When him, Little Brother came out, I was constantly listening to that. Early MF Doom.
Oh
So
yeah.
I was listening to that while I was stationed. I was previously in the Air Force over in Europe, and when MF Doom came out, a lot of people didn't really know about him and didn't really want to pay attention to him because the style was different. And
Yeah.
I just kept listening to it and listening to it. He turned out to be one of the hip hop icons, legends.
Rest in peace too.
Yeah, rest in peace to him. So
Rest in peace.
that's a lot of people I can name, but mainly I can say currently in the 2000s was ninth.
Ninth Wonder. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear some of that, in your music as well. And just kind of like generally speaking, and I was actually thinking about this before the show, but one of the things that I always liked about, your beat making, you make a lot of like boom bap East Coast type beats, but also you can switch it up. You can make a down south beat, you can make a West Coast beat. You to me, that's really the embodiment of what a producer is, being able to adapt. Of course, we all have our kind of own lane that we're influenced by.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just kind of good to experiment. I remember one time, and I think that was a couple of months ago, but yeah, posted a almost like a 3 6 Mafia type beat, a Memphis type beat.
Yeah.
Um, like, how important do you think it is to be versatile as a producer and beat maker?
For me, I think it is very important. Just because I know for myself, if I keep doing boom bap after a while, I start to get stagnant. I start to maybe get bored. And
Yeah,
I try to look for other challenges as far as trying to do a different sound and stuff. So that's why I kind of navigate to that. Plus, I mean, boom bap hip hop is my love as far as the first. out of
Yeah.
everything. But I also grew up on down south music. I also heard a lot of No Limit, a lot
Yeah.
of 3 6 Mafia, a lot of folks from Houston and Texas. You know what I mean? I've heard it all. You know what I mean? And then with my transition through the military, I encountered a lot of other people from different areas and different cultures. So I kind of took all that on. And plus, in the Maryland D.C. area, we kind of listen to everything. Kind of
Yeah.
listen to everything because everything kind of reverts back into the go-go scene. I don't know if you know about that.
No,
You know,
no. Speak on that a little bit.
with the go-go scene is just all live performance. Yeah, congos, you got lead singers, you got somebody in the mic rhyming, but a lot of the tracks and stuff that they're performing are stuff from, what's the word? I don't say remixes or repurposes of other songs that's been out.
Like
And some,
covers.
yeah, recovers. And sometimes they're actually better than the original.
Yeah.
I've had times where I listen to stuff and they've been actually better than the original.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what that background as far as for listening to all different types of varieties of hip hop. And I think it is kind of important to kind of at least try it if you want to do something different, because it makes you think differently about how you're gonna do your process. For me, it does.
Yeah, same here. I mean, and we're, kind of about the same, come out of the same generation as far as seeing the different eras of music, like late 90s, early 2000s. And if you kind of rewind back then, we talk about how the East Coast, they were popular. Of course, you had Jay-Z and Nas coming up around 95 onward to the
Yeah.
early 2000s, but then also you had your 3 6 Mafias, you had your No Limit and Master P, you had your hell, the West Coast was still doing their thing with Cube and West Coast Connection. So it's
Hmm.
just like we kind of grew up in an era when there was just so many, and these guys were all putting out hits. That was the thing. It wasn't
Yeah.
like they was just putting out music to put out music. They were all putting out hits. So, I mean, of course, that took over shows like Rap City and probably like local radio stations as well. I
Yeah.
remember used to have that blank tape that you used to record tracks on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, from the boom box, excuse me. And yeah, that was just a good era for music, man. One of the other things that, as a creator, that I look at your page and I just see almost the same things that I'm doing, really, like in terms of you're consistent when you post your beats every week, you're consistent posting about your albums as well. And I always say that your followers, not you particular, but just generally speaking about someone's followers, if you're a music producer or artist, don't be afraid to post your work because it won't do you any justice by staying on your computer.
Hmm.
How has that helped you gain maybe more people to possibly sell beats to, or even like just fans generally speaking?
So when it comes to, I'll say with selling beats, I notice like yourself and then others, you just got to kind of be consistent. You know what I mean? Especially if folks are following you and they're seeing your progress and seeing your changes. But when it comes to the followers and stuff like that, the actual regular listeners and stuff like that, I just try to be consistent, give them something as much as I can, because if it's now the game of, if you're not constantly pumping out stuff, you kind of get forgotten in a way. That's what
Yeah.
seems like, that or the algorithm, so to speak, doesn't benefit you. You know what I mean? And I've kind of seen that. I was speaking to somebody the other day. I was talking about with Instagram in general. I was like, the algorithm is different now. I get no reach, nowhere near like I was
Yeah.
getting like a year or 2 years ago. Even just like other people's stuff, content, I don't see it as much. So I don't know if you just got to keep feeding the algorithm and then it puts your stuff in front of everybody. But I don't know.
It's
But
t- it is tough, man. I noticed it as well. Because there are some days I may post a beat or beat making video, whatever that looks like, and you might get anywhere from 25, 30, likes or more, and comments and everything else. And then I may post something similar the next day, and couple of hours go by and hadn't anybody seen it. And that's the kind of the it could get tough sometimes. And with that being said, for anybody that's listening, definitely don't get discouraged by not posting, because eventually, it will circle around back and the algorithm will get better. But just kind of to go off of also what you said is I always thought about, and it doesn't necessarily, like in this case around this time, I'm actually doing a beat challenge, but outside of that,
Hmm.
I may just have a beat making video, and then a beat that I'm making in the video, I'll go ahead, track that out, and post it. And to me, that's kind of like every time you post a beat, that's another form of content. And even if I don't get somebody that says, "Ooh, I want to buy that beat," the first day I put it out, maybe later on down the line, it actually happened like last year. I remember doing the same exact beat challenge. Somebody saw a beat that I made
Yeah.
and they didn't even buy it then. And a couple of months later, they just hit me up saying, "Hey, I saw you made this a couple of months ago. I was interested in it. I wanted to know if it's still available." And that
Yeah.
was because I stayed engaged and posted. So you never know. Sometimes that's just a single situation, but that can happen to anybody.
Yeah, and like you said too, going back to that original question, regarding whether or not it's a good beat or a bad beat, you just got to kind of put it out there to see. Because I had
Yeah,
stuff that I put out that I thought was crap, and I was just like, "Ain't nobody gonna like this." But then I get comments, I get likes, and I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe people like it."
yeah,
I come to find out like music is subjective. It's subjective as hell.
that hurt.
One person might not like one thing, but another person might love it. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, you don't know where you stand. So when anybody listen, I'll just say just put it out and just see the
Yeah.
shit work. It is what it is.
Yeah, just put it out. Because that's happened, several times as well. Like somebody, a beat that I don't like, they may like. And I want to actually shout out Mr. Fat, who actually was the producer and the beat maker. He was on this show some months ago as well, but he produced the Cupid Shuffle.
Hmm.
And he told a story on the show about like the beat for that song he didn't like himself, and he played it in the studio and Cupid liked it, and just the rest is history. Is a platinum record now.
Yeah, yeah,
So so you just never know. Sometimes you never know.
yeah. You got lucky on that one then.
Got real lucky, man. Real lucky on that one. um what are you producing on again? I remember you were using that Serato a while back.
So still using Serato Studio. So
Okay.
I've been just over a year still figuring it out. Still working with it. I mean, to be honest, as I'm going along, I'm still finding out new stuff. Like they just released the option for stems. So that kind of changes things now. So at first I was thinking like maybe a couple weeks ago, I was like, maybe I should start learning something else, whether it be Ableton or Logic or even
Yeah.
FL, um, just to see something else. But then they threw the stems out and I was like, okay, well, let me see what I can do with this now that we are able to do stems, which, you can track out your vocals, the drums, the melody. You know, it's changed things now. So I don't have to go to like what's that la la AI and other stuff.
Oh,
I just
yeah,
got
yeah.
I got it straight in Serato Studio. You know.
Man, that's amazing because there was a coworker of mine who told me about that. He uses Serato as well.
Hmm.
And man, that's kind of make me want to at least check it out. I've been a machine guy for the longest, and I have the MPC, and of course I still go with Beatmaker, but
Hmm.
I'm always looking to try new things. Do you still, I remember at one time you were on the iPad as well. Do you dabble in that at all, or you just solely like Serato now?
I've been solely Serato, but recently I've been going back to using Beatmaker 3. Like I will do stuff in Serato Studio, take it to Beatmaker 3, and use like Fly Tape or
Yeah.
what's that, Tornado, and do the effects and stuff on that, and even Koala FX, just to mess around with it and still kind of have it in the back of my head and still being able to be done. But yeah, mainly just Serato Studio right now.
Man, shout out to MSX Sound. Oh, that fly tape, you reminded me of that.
Yeah, they got some good products, man.
Very good products, man. Um, what you got on deck as far as I know, like we got the year ending, you just released your beat tape. But do you have any plans for the remainder of 2022 kind of going into 2023?
So I've been like the past couple weeks, I've been kind of talking, trying to see what I'm gonna do next. Um, like talking to Root One, him and another producer out of California, Tap Waterfish, they kind of put it in my head as far as for remixes. So recently I've been trying to my hand at remixes,
Yeah.
especially now that I have the stem option in Serato. I've been trying, just been working with that and just been doing remix. So I'm like, maybe I should just throw out a remix album for free on Bandcamp, see how it does, just see if anybody listens to us and like it. So that's one of my options. Another one is a follow up to Chopping Block, which I did maybe over a year ago. Um, Putting one out on that. That's all nothing but samples, whether it's from sound libraries or regular samples, and putting that out, and then just all chopped up. Um, and then the last option I was thinking about was just a straight trap one.
Just something different.
Yeah, just to be something different. You know what I mean? Granted, a lot of the folks that follow me, I think they're more boom bap, but you got to mix people that like both. So
Yeah,
I mean, if boom bap folks don't like it, I'm sorry, but it is what it is.
it is what it is.
If I feel like putting out something, I put it out. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's what I got in the works right now. I'm just trying to figure out which one I'm gonna start first. I've been kind of doing the remixes for the past week or so. So I'm like, well, if I just do the remix album, do about either make it an album or EP, and just put that out and then kind of move on. So I'm kind of it's up in the air right now.
Yeah, the remix, that's something else I was listening, you did like a Larry June
Yeah,
remix. And one of the things a while back, I did a remix for Royce the 5'9". Man, what's the name of the song? Anyhow, he had like T.I. on a joint with him and a couple of other cats on it. It was about a 5 minute song. I did that. And I also did a remix, both were for BeatStars with Paul Wall. And they had some of his vocals on there as well. But I find doing remixes fun for one, and especially which kind of goes into what you were saying about like how you were talking about the comparison or getting maybe trap people that like trap fans of trap beats and trap music versus fans of boom bap. I thought it was a challenge for me sometimes when I produce a certain artist style of music, but
hmm
being able to build around their vocals, you might find something unique. And in some cases, you never know if you get lucky, you tag them online in the remix and they like it. You
yeah,
never know. You might they might end up buying a remix from you, or you might end up doing business with them on something else. But um like has remixing also, from the stuff that you had posted, have you noticed any growth in terms of maybe fans or just people that kind of like what I was asking earlier, people that maybe wanted to do business as far as beats?
no, I haven't. I mean,
Uh,
mainly it's been more for myself, just the fact that I don't have a artist I'm directly working with.
yeah,
So this kind of puts me in that mindset. Okay, what if I did have an artist? How would I do this beat? And like you said, how would I format it and kind of go from there? So with doing the remixes, this will kind of put out, okay, well, this is how his stuff sounds with vocals, because I haven't had anybody with vocals except for a remix I've done with Root One, and
yeah.
you know that's really it. You know what I mean? But other than that, yeah, it's a more practice for me. I get to see arrangements, leveling, all that type of stuff. So I'm getting better at that.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Rook One too, man. Me and that brother been putting in a lot of work over
Yeah,
the
yeah,
last year, and in fact he remixed some of one of our joints Out of Place
yeah.
on our last album, and it's just been really good to work with Rook One, man. So definitely looking forward, and I kind of going back to like what you were saying, that doing remixes, for the same reasons. If there's not a artist that I'm working with personally, I may sometimes go and look to take on doing a remix or something. I need to start posting those a little bit more, but that could draw in people that are fans of that person's music, especially, things like hashtags and,
Yeah.
how you kind of market and present it online as well. Because a lot of those guys that post to like BeatStars or whatever platform, if they're making those type beats, they might put a remix on there to go along with that beat. So,
Hmm.
what platform you use BeatStars as well?
So for selling, I use Dot, which just came out this year. So I'm using them right now just to see how it is and see how it goes, and um, community within there and see how it works out. But if it doesn't work out, I'm going to probably switch to BeatStars by the end of the year. So
Okay.
we'll see how it goes. But how is for you BeatStars working and
Um,
selling and all that stuff?
I think what I personally like about BeatStars is and I'm sure the other platforms have it, is one, you could have your different tiers of purchase licenses. So, if you got somebody that just want to buy a MP3 to put out an EP or whatever, versus somebody who maybe want to purchase a high quality wave along with the stems. You can separate those two options. I don't really sell like exclusives directly through BeatStars unless they contact me.
Hmm.
Um, because I don't even have an option for that on there. But I also like about BeatStars is they have these different contests with just different artists. Like they had the one with Paul Wall, Royce the 5'9", do a lot of other artists out there. So they have feature opportunities that you can get with major artists. And then you got the BeatStars publishing as well. That not only from artists, but they also have like film and television opportunities that you could submit to,
Hmm.
and that goes into the BeatStars publishing. And there are a lot of artists too. They've kind of made it almost like a creator social network, because you got artists on there that, I notice sometimes they may save a beat to their playlist, their own personal playlist, if they're thinking about buying it.
Yeah.
And then, they may hit me up later about purchasing a beat. So I like that. It's worked pretty good for me. I've also used like Airbit in the past, which was formerly known as My Flash Store years ago.
Yeah.
And they changed it to Airbit. And I know, they have a lot of other options. I think United Masters has something going on too. Lander has some. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of options out there for you to be able to sell beats. And BeatStars, I just like the fact that they have the opportunities for you as a producer, and that they have artists on there as well. So,
Okay.
and they also have different tiers too. It starts at, I might be wrong, but there's like a $10 that is gonna be pretty basic as far as the storage, and then it goes to like 20, and then they have $40. And I think with each of them you get more storage
Hmm.
for however many beats you want to upload to the website. So, and also I think I like about it is if you put the beat out on YouTube, you can link the video on your BeatStars to the video on YouTube. So if you are like connecting, or if you are collecting any YouTube streaming revenue, that'll basically go out to like BeatStars as well.
Okay.
So you can make sure you get your revenue on both sides. So there's a lot of opportunities for creators on BeatStars.
Yeah. Yeah. I might check them out by the end of the year. Like I said, if this doesn't, I'm not seeing any progress or movement on the current platform I'm on now, I'm just gonna go to BeatStars.
Yeah, yeah, it's and there was times I ain't gonna say I was displeased with BeatStars, but where I was just kind of wanting to see what else is out there, in other words. And I sat and thought about it, and this is only because I have so much as far as what I have uploaded to BeatStars, when I kind of think about that, sometimes I even got my website going, or I even have my website using the BeatStars interface and BeatStars engine on the website. So
Hmm.
I got it kind of already arranged in a certain way. It would kind of be hard for me to transition into something else at this point, but
Yeah, it's a lot of
you know,
movement as far as for files and all that other stuff, uploads and all
yeah,
that stuff. Yeah.
yeah, over 200 tracks on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
That's a lot.
That's a lot, man. Um, man, also another question I like to ask is there are artists out there, maybe, a couple of artists that you would like to work with that you hadn't got a chance to work with yet?
Hmm. I know Zach one from out in Cali. You know, he hit me up, so maybe we'll get together and actually
Shout
do
out to
something.
Zach. Yeah.
Yeah, by the end of the year. So we'll see on that. I haven't had any other like interest as far as artist wise that hit me up. You know, I
Okay.
get more talk from producers and stuff like that. So, but
Yeah, yeah.
definitely Zach one knows because he's actually hit me up from the start.
Yeah, he hit me up as well, man. Looking forward to working with him as well. I like what he's doing. Zach one, you talk about somebody who's been consistent with it as well.
Yeah,
He just dropped his EP. He was on the show actually a couple of months ago, in fact, talking about his
yeah,
EP. So
yeah. Watch that.
and then something else he got coming soon. So, like you, man, hopefully sometime next year get to work with Zach one on his next project. So where can all of our listeners find your work and find you online?
So on Instagram, it's CAL3VIN_. And then if you go into the bio, I have all my links in that link tree. So whether it be from the beach store, whether it be from the streaming apps and stuff like that, and even like on the side, I'm doing a little bit of cover art stuff. So if you need cover art, I got options there. If you need something, hit me up.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's good to have, more than one hustle as well. So big
Yeah,
ups to you on that, man. Big ups to
appreciate
you
it.
on it. Yeah, man. You can find me also on Instagram at D._major music, as well as check out new episodes of the Major Music Lounge here on YouTube, as well as all podcast streaming platforms. Gonna be bringing more shows as we close out the year. So if you are interested in getting on the Major Music Lounge podcast, go ahead, hit me up on one of those platforms. I'm also on TikTok at the same thing, D._major music, and Twitter, D.mme. So definitely looking to fill some upcoming spots. Reach out to me. Until next time, it's your boy D Dot along with Calvin, and we're out.
You can tell by my demeanor, smooth, calm, and collect. You don't see nobody cleaner, paper, power, and respect. Seen, read, and heard, sit back and peep the scene. In my hustle of the chart, moving at a different speed.